Metod, welcome to our second session. Last time we ended with the energies, and from that point of view, so Tomasz, I'll just leave it to you, the question. So please.
Thanks. Metod, you mentioned before burnout and lack of energy, and the burnout is today an epidemic, actually. So what is actually burnout in, I would say, from physical energetical perspective of the human body, the person, and how does affect, let's say, the youth, the look of the people. That does means that this makes us more older, more younger. So the full view.
Okay. Hello to you both. Thank you for having me here. You asked the question about the burnout, what it is, how it affects people. Well, when I started my sports science journey, I was thinking only about biomechanics, about the muscles, about the tendons, about the chemical fuel that body chemical fuels. There are different kinds, but the life brought me to the point where I was burned out, and that looked like if I experience any kind of serious stress. Let's say the guy in front of me on the road would hit his brakes, and then my brakes would screech, and that would cause stress. I would be done for the day. Basically, I could just go home because I was unable to drive further. I was unable to do any kind of work, and I could rest like a couple of weeks just to get out from that stress. And for me, that was pretty serious situation. But it was not so serious that the burnout that came few years later, when I was just able to sleep and eat.
Mm-hmm.
I knew all about supplementation, about healthy food. I was, full of vitamins, full of antioxidants, eating healthy. But that just basically kept my nose over the water. And when you ask how the burnout person looks, I looked pretty normal, but I already described how it was before the burnout. I could not handle stress.
Mm-hmm.
And this burnout was really bad. Like, I looked normal, but I could just do some gentle exercise. I would lead up. I would guide elderly population warm up on the coaching session, and I would get muscle strains from warm up for retired people, if you can imagine. My body was basically like a rag doll, just like old rag doll that everything just tears apart. You don't need to change it a lot. So we were talking about certifications and education background in our first part. I have like 2 Reiki levels done. I walked on fire for 2 times. I experienced all sorts of things in this energetical realm, but at the same time, I did 7 years of biomechanics. I love mathematics. I love statistics. I love physics. I really love this hardcore science. And as a coach, I already helped coaching and rehab a lot of top athletes in different fields, and with everyday Joes, everyday Janes, just stay-home moms, people from all walks of life. But for me, I was just helpless. All my knowledge was just enough to keep my nose over the water level, not to sink, not to get drowned. And I found Urška landed. We talked a little bit about her in the first. We mentioned her in the first part, and she said to me, "I'm not able to help you." Right, and that was quite. It was really a hard blow because Urška is so capable. I consider her like a really high level master. As you know, her work was recognition by gurus from India and so on. And I experienced all sorts, like literal miracles working with her. And now she says to me, "I'm not able to help you." And I was just like, I'm effed here. Like, I'm seriously effed here. Like, what should I do? Like, right now I can just insure myself and sell my body for internal organs or something. I'm just a collection of spare parts now. Like, I'm not functioning anymore, right? And then she said, you need to find somebody like my father. He's able to help you. You can find somebody else, but I know he's able to help you. And I trust Urška. I have just single good experience following her advice. I had a little bit experience of working with her father for group session, like 2 years before that. And by the way, he mentioned we should work together one-on-one. I was just, I'm good, I'm strong, right? And I had no other choice than to check him out. And our work began like that. We're sitting only in live. He said, "Metod, anything that you think you know, you can forget it. Like all your knowledge you think you have, you can forget it." I was like, okay. And we started from that. I'm approaching my I'm going to be, after 2 years, I'm going to be in my 50s, and I have little kids. Like the youngest one is 3 years, and it's 5 years, and Julian just completed 8 years now. So there is quite a lot of load of working around the house, working with people. And I mentioned a lot of my clients is suicide, so it's just emotional load of working with people, and we didn't even scratch the mechanics, how complex for me, not for my clients, for me, is my work mechanically. And what I try to communicate is, now I'm fine. Like, I could go do 5 pull-ups on some tree without warm-up, which would tear me apart. Few years back. I have more wrinkles, so I look older than I used to. But what's changed?
Yes.
Is that I'm connected. Let's say I'm connected up and down better, meaning I'm grounded much better. And we talk about upward connection. Some people say I'm connected to God or to universe or whatever. This is what I call the upward connection. I don't have any suicidal thoughts anymore. I used to have them quite serious in my childhood. And I have trust. I have these big, strong muscles of trust, which again, they get challenged. Life will test us all the way, but my trust is so much stronger. So I have this connection downwards, I have this connection upwards. I trust in myself, in my life, in the universe, in people I work with. I trust in people working with me that they will get better. So this trust, which is hope or faith with the feet on the ground, moving, working, believing, is, if I use the Yoda words, like trust is strong with me.
So it's very important that you know your path you're working on.
My path.
Yeah. I
No,
mean,
what is
what I want to
important?
say is that it's important for the person that it is on its path, let's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you want to say the destined spend the
Maybe
following
the
up this
destiny.
destiny,
Yeah.
because everybody on some sort of path. Like if we say going to the seaside is one path, and going to the mountains is another one. Both are paths, but depending where you feel the best, where you want to go. Like in India, terminology following your true path is called dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A, with the H, dharma, not karma, but dharma. And that means following your true path. And me working in my grandfather's workshop with the hammer, with the file, with the fire, that taught me about how materials behave, me loving the animals, observing how they move, me having all these issues in my childhood, being depressed, being suicidal. I need to get a shot, adrenaline, non-adrenaline, epinephrine shot that my body made by pushing the boundary so hard. Like I trained minimally 2.5 hours, sometimes 6 hours at solid pace, just to get these endorphins, just to feel at peace, just to not hate myself, just to, you know, some people, and this is these are stronger drugs than alcohol. They are like really like, you know, doing the heroin or something, doing cocaine. These drugs are so strong that climbers can break them fingers and they don't feel it, they will climb. It's a really serious drug. I would be addicted to sport. So I don't need these shots anymore. I can live just being myself. And by the way, pushing the envelope, going to failure, all out, 1 rep more, no pain, no gain mentality. This is something that will get you to burnout. Mm-hmm. And for sure, it will get you mechanically injured. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Masters agree, right? You don't see veterans at the veteran Olympic Games. You don't see the Olympians. Maybe you don't know that, but 3 houses on the same street I live, there is Primož Kosmos, former world champion in hammer throw. He had spine surgery. We talked. He said, I said to him, you were doing such and such exercises. He said, yeah, that's what I did. He said, these exercises will get you injured, especially on top level. You cannot drive Ferrari in the wrong way. When you're the strongest man in the world, in your sport, doing something wrong has consequences, big ones. Mm-hmm. I can give you a wheelbarrow, and you can crash a wheelbarrow because you don't know how to drive a wheelbarrow. You don't know how to drive anything. And I can give you a fighter jet. Now you crash a fighter jet. Guess which one will get you injured, right? Or driving Ferrari.
Metod. Metod, I would just like to just stop you for a second, because what you just said before, you mentioned pretty much everything about the suicide, about pushing the envelope and exercising. You're the only person I have ever met that actually described my life for the last 25, 30 years. 40 years. Like I'm not joking, like literally you're the only one that, like, you describe my days of my life, like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, training CrossFit, you know, it's really like with working 8 hours a day, training in the evening or working on something else, until like the feeling you said, like not hating yourself and not just get that rush. And I was doing also other cocaine and all of that, and like I can you know, and it's nothing comparing to any drugs. Like you just need that, like, so you can you can sleep. Plus all of doing like that for 15, 16 hours a day, in the end I still couldn't sleep. Like, or like that, like the level of burnout or stress was so high all the time that I had to smoke a joint, that like I just, okay, now I can breathe, right? After all of that, I was still not tired. I was physically or mentally, like I was like relaxed for about an hour maybe, and then again came back, right? So I really, like, I was like now listening, and I was like, Jesus Christ, he's describing my life, like literally. So yeah, thank you for that. Like, I feel much more calm now last couple of years, and like I don't, like you said, I don't need that anymore for about 4 or 5 years now. But until that point, that click came in my head, I was doing what you just described to the point, to the T. Like I literally, wow. Like I'm just like, whoa, okay, thank you for that. So yeah,
I'm grateful that I could be I could shed some light on your life. But what I think you guys have is a gift, let's say, to sniff out, to sense the people that will bring a value to other people. And I checked your podcasts before coming, before arranging, before we started the idea of getting together on podcast. And you guys accumulated some great people that you can learn something and really turn the ship of your life in the direction you want. And if some enthusiasts in sports are hearing this podcast and they're using sport as a drug, right? Not as a way to build ourselves, but the way to just to get a hit, right? To get away from ourselves. Every drug, every single drug will first stop working at the end. Like you saw, okay, now I need CrossFit, now I need a joint, now I need a glass of Rakiel or Jägermeister or whatever. It all stops working, but what does not stop working is addiction. So now you don't have the benefits, you just have the need. And imagine having the car every single time you get into the car, you just go full throttle, pedal to the metal, handbrake it, slide the tires on the curve every single time you get in the car, right? And you don't maintain it very well. You don't even think about maintenance, right? This is what people do. They post on Instagram, I broke my PR today. I'm going broke it together, my personal best, right? And what gets used when people function through their ego, through this, look at me, what I will create, I'm so great. They use the energy that's called in Asian sciences, liver energy. And when you use the liver energy, you basically are burning out. You're burning candle, not on both ends, you're burning candle all over, right? And because we are such tremendously powerful creatures with literally infinite potential, when we're young, we feel we can do anything. And we burn this candle of our liver energy with every drug we take, with every night we didn't sleep, with every physical activity we push over the edge. By the way, it's much better to work on the farm and push your boundaries on the farm. It's not good, but it's much better than pushing it in the gym. Having this mentality, my end result, my goal is how I look in the mirror, and nothing else matters, right? and doing 1 rep more than guy on the machine next to me, having bigger plates than him, that's going to burn you out. That's why you see the champions. I'm not against gyms, I'm not against fitness, I'm not against CrossFit. You'll see champions wearing the hoodies in the fitness. Why? Because they are just focused on what they do. They are not comparing. They are just here and now. You can see this in really great bodybuilders. But again, I'm not against bodybuilder. I'm not promoting this as a healthy way for everybody. If you check on Dorian Yates, who was 6-time Mr. Olympia, he will talk about meditation. He will talk about ayahuasca. He will be really modest, humble, nice to talk to person. These guys, that's a form of meditation when you're just being present with your mind-muscle connection, not thinking about anything else, right? But yeah, these guys work to failure, and that's why you cannot do this for theoretically, hypothetically, you can do bodybuilding for your whole life, but in practice, it is very hard to do that without functioning your ego. Only a couple of people can do this. You can see Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's very vital, active in his late years, but we are not born with the same amount of liver energy. That's very important. Our fathers and mothers, we sum up their energy, and we are born. You can see some babies or teenagers or grown-ups. Some people has just an enormous amount of energy. This is their reservoir, right? And some people have moderate or lower. They can both lower it and increase it, but it's like running a company. It's how much you spend and how much of the income, how much of the profit you create, how much of the expenses you have, and how much you do for others, how much you follow your dharma, your true path. This is how much energy you get. I can literally, when I function, when I'm working with my clients, I'm just in the flow, right? I can have 2, 3, 4 clients per day on the call that are depressed, suicidal. That does not chip on my energy so much. But if I would go hit the gym and just, I'm the strongest, look at me, I'm approaching my 50s and look what I can do, I would be really, really tired from it. Yeah, so I again went really wide on answering that question, but it's a wide topic.
Yeah, but you answered I believe the point. Yeah, you answered the energy, which is liver energy, and if we burn out, then we burn out. So we have to really be aware of how we live.
Yeah, the focus that we live. Like if we compare ourselves to one girl and a guy living in third world country, they need to think about the survival every single time. So their ego is pushed into the corner, right? They cannot just go, let's say they are selling some food on the street. They need to be nice to the people. They need to have good food. They need to have good prices. They cannot just say, I will be a really shitty person for a couple of days. He will not eat for a couple of days, right? If we compare ourselves to live in Western style of life, we can be really in bad mood, just working regular 9-to-5 job, right? You can be do a little bit less of work for 1 week, and be really in bad mood. Tell somebody to, you know, not so nice things to your coworker, and it will not have a great consequence. It will have eventually, if you keep on doing things like that, it will. But what I try to point out here is like about 98-99% of the things we do in Western civilization, we do them out of our ego. We just fulfill our desires. We just follow. We just go to social media in the morning. We just eat some junk food. We just drink some coffee with cream and sugar and eat a bagel or something. And then we go to the job that it's compared to some jobs in other parts of the world, really safe and really comfortable. Like some people will pick honey from the rocks hanging from some ropes, made from plants. Like this will that's some people job. Some people job is to tend to the herd up in the mountains in the Himalaya, right? And some people do really dangerous jobs also here in Western world. Like I mentioned, one of my backgrounds is rock climbing. We did we cleaned factories roofs. We did did the paint job on the power towers, right? If you let your ego get the better of you on that kind of jobs, you're not going to last long. So not following the ego, and ego is nothing. I would describe ego as your primal instincts going rogue, just letting the dogs out. So what's the primal instinct? It's survival. Then if we are men, we want to be better, more powerful than others, we want to have others under the control. Then it's instinct to procreate, the sexual instinct. So these are just primal instincts without good supervision. Again, I'm not saying the ego is bad or the having sexual drive is bad. I'm just saying that if this is out of the control, you're putting yourself and others in trouble. In the long term, when we just follow the ego path, we'll burn out for sure, for sure. And we are forced to take a high road. We are really humbled, right? When the life is shooting bullets, and I call one of the bullets are bills you get. In civilization, you get bills you need to pay, right? And you have no bullets to shoot back. That's really humbling experience. You have not enough energy to work, not enough energy to think, not enough energy to apply for a job. That's why the people go homeless, because they get burned out. That's a humbling experience, right? And then we are on the crossroad. Either you go for a higher source of energy, or you just go lower and lower and lower. You can see how the homeless. This is why the people get homeless. They can be professors. If you go to capital and talk to homeless people, you hear a different story. I was a professor. I was the head of the company. I was this and this and this, and now this person is homeless. Why? One of the reasons is because they got burned out seriously, right? And burned out people in my field, they will not rehab, or they will rehab extremely slow, right? They might have a lot of money or bank account. They afford to pay the top-notch experts. I have this, like I work with this, I'm working with you, I work with you, but they tend to get better really slow, not. And then I hook them up with the energy guys, and bang, like, whoa, that's my first night. I can sleep without the pain, right? And I dress his sleeping position. I advise him on which mattress to get, how he or she gets out of the bed in the morning, how they brush their teeth, because the spine is extremely sensitive in the morning, right? This aspect of how much energy people have, or they are burnout or not, is extremely important in every field of our lives, including the spine rehab. Yeah. So I hope I answered the question.
Definitely, this is the first time I ever heard that, let's say, this liver energy is connected to our burnout energy, or to how strong we are, how strong we appear every day. Yeah. And you
absolutely
said the sentence, following our ego path will lead to burnout. For me, this is
every single time. You just need to follow it through.
This is the wow moment,
That's why so many people that are negating or having aversion against the energetical spiritual realm, and I'm not judging them. I was one of them. We are basically forced, when nothing else works, we are forced to start search them, and we don't get solutions until the basics in that world are getting addressed also. And I'm totally getting why people are against it, because there is a lot of gaslighting and a lot of false guru that believe even themselves. That's the worst kind of guru. Is he didn't experience the burnout. He still has a lot of reserve, and he was not forced into real basics. And now he teaches the people how to get enlightened and whatever, but they are not even scratching the surface on a lot of basics. That's why I'm really careful with whom I collaborate, and I see myself as a guy that just is studying the basics, teaching other people the basics, and working with people who know the basics. For example, here you could go to enlightenment, like 10-15 years ago, you can go to enlightenment course, like weekend course. There were like weekend courses. There was a 2-day course how you can get to be a chiropractor. There was a weekend course how you can get to be a Jyotish expert. Like instant shortcuts, and these people were damaging other people. They were like, you would come walking through the door to this chiropractor and would go out on the wheelchair. In India or other proper system of educations, like in the sports science, you would be studying for 10 years, right? And they would not promise you a quick success. Like we talk formal education. Do you think that formal education got the ability to the doctor-student McGill? It didn't. He was frustrated greatly because the model of the body, which was biomechanical, robotic-like, without fascia. That model was without fascia, just like muscle inserts here, muscle contracts here, so I have a leverage, and that's how the body works. It doesn't work like that. When I was studying biomechanics, about the same time McGill was doing his work, the numbers didn't add, we didn't know about each other then, but my numbers didn't add up. His numbers and his team didn't add up because we were using the wrong model. So I was frustrating because I was following up on each and every client I worked with. And a lot of time things just didn't add up. I was not able to help the person. And I followed up on people almost daily, most of the time daily. I was hitting by the reality of not getting the job done. And if you're sincere, when we talk about the energetic or spiritual world, just being sincere, that's spiritual, that's energetical, because okay, I'm professor of biomechanics on University of Waterloo, that was his case, and I'm not getting my job done, so I'm not so great. And I'm here, some unknown method in village country of our beautiful Slovenia, 2 million nation, right? And I'm not getting my job done. And I should not feel so great. There is something I don't know. There's some basics I'm not even aware of.
You're missing, yeah.
And that gets you humble, and that gets you open. And we are humble and open. We get to the people that will teach us the basics. Yeah. So I'm not even able to explain everything that Urška's father, the Jože or Josep in English, done with me, to me, on me. But one of the things I got was receiving homeworks. Like, you need to sort out your relationship with your mother. You need to sort out your relationship with your father. You need to be every day in the nature and meditate. And I would just go, and I was still living in capital. I would find a spot in the forest. That's the greenest capital in the Europe, by the way, luckily. And I was just sitting, leaning against the tree, and I was just doing what I needed to done. And I need to put like 1 year of solid work to get really stable level of energy. And another year, I will need to see him not 3 times per week, just one time for every 2 weeks, and then was 1 time for 2 months. And basically now I'm able to function without any external help, but I still go search for mentoring. I still do sessions with my mentors, because
Metod.
coaching works. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think for the second session, let's leave it at this.